Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HD broadcast, and today we are going to be looking at a Terran tutorial versus Protoss on how to execute a 1-Rax fast expand, which basically means going for one barracks into a fast command center and then controlling and making sure you can defend that fast expansion and then overcoming the Protoss through your superior economy. So the basic strategy and the basic build order for this video is no gas at all. Get your barracks down, get out of command center as soon as the barracks has finished, and then you want to throw down 3 more barracks right after you put down that command center, because you're going to need all the ground infantry you can possibly get to help defend and make sure you can secure that fast expansion. As this tutorial goes on, I'll go into a little bit more depth and detail, but right here it is going to be on Lost Temple, and the majority of my tutorial videos are going to be on Lost Temple because I feel like it's the most standard map. It's one of the only maps where you can have a fast expand that's easily securable with only one entrance, and it's a map that's always going to be in the map pool, I feel like. So yeah, gonna be doing this on Lost Temple, and as you guys can see, getting my barracks down at 12 supply. Very standard opening for a Terran player. No gas. You do not need any gas to go when you're going for a 1-Rax FE, because you're not gonna be producing any gas intensive units or any gas requirement at all. Now you guys can see I'm also using that SCV to scout around and about. I actually set rally points for the SCVs so that it can just go scouting, and you can do that by holding shift and right clicking, and then it'll set a waypoint for your SCV to go without having to constantly check on it. So it's very, very helpful to do that when you're scouting, and you can pay attention to your base while that's going on. Now, once this barracks is done, you do want to get a command center right on 15. You guys can see I'm also using my SCV to block off this probe as well, because I don't want it to get in my base and scout. But he's going to attack the SCV, so I am going to have to pull it back. Once that orbital command starts morphing in, you do also want to get a Marine on that first barracks right away. A couple of Marines here or there is very, very helpful, because you can hold off, an early proxy or any kind of cheese, and of course you can get rid of this scouting probe, which almost killed the SCV, but not quite. Now, as soon as you have a couple Marines out, 1 or 2, and you have your orbital command done, you throw down a command center in your base. You don't really want to throw it outside. I've seen players who do throw it outside, but it's a lot more difficult to hold against, say, like a 2-gate. So throw it inside your base, and then get your next supply depot down. Now you guys can see I have found the opponent's base. It is going to be a Protoss player, and the 1-Rax FE is very good against almost any opening a Protoss player can cook up. I've seen it work extremely well against, it can hold off 4 gates, it can hold off a 2-gate as well if you wait on actually landing your command center. If you just stay inside your main base until you hold off the 2-gate rush, then you can also do the 1-Rax FE as well. So it's a very good build order. It lends itself to a macro-oriented game, so it's very much for a player who prefers not to cheese, prefers to play macro style, and it does require a bit more skill, but this is the beauty and essence of StarCraft, being able to play a game up until the late stage. Now you guys can see I am throwing down 3 additional barracks. Once the 3 additional barracks are down, you do get a refinery out so that you can start harvesting some gas, so that you can pump out Marines or Marauders and get those tech labs down and get those upgrades. So now I have 4 barracks and I have a command center. The natural transition from a 1-Rax FE is to get these 3 barracks down so that you have enough infantry to control and secure that front door. You guys can also see my opponent looks like he's going for some kind of a 4-gate attack, possibly 2-gate, most likely 4-gate, because he has those assimilators down. So like I said before, this opening is good against the 4-gate. It is a bit stressful, but all you have to do is make sure you throw up enough bunkers at your natural choke to make sure you can hold it off. I would recommend 3 if your opponent is going for a 4-gate. Now you guys can see I am getting the bunkers down. Once those bunkers are starting to build, you do want to continue to pump out infantry and then land your command center from its secure position inside the main base. Now, the normal transition from the 1-Racks FE is eventually to go 3M, and 3M stands for Marine Marauder Medvac. This is the standard play against Protoss if you open 1-Racks FE, because it's so easy. You know, first of all, you're getting all these barracks to help secure your front door. You've got these bunkers up. You've got the infantry on the ground. Might as well transition into 3M, Marine Marauder Medvac, because it's still very powerful against Protoss as well. Now you guys can see I do have 2 tech labs down. What I like to do is get 2 tech labs on 2 of the barracks and then get two reactors on the other 2 barracks. And the reason for that is because I'll be able to research concussive shells, stim pack, and or shields, whatever I need, and get those upgrades quickly out. Also get the second refinery down as well so I can start mining that gas. You guys can see I am a little bit supply blocked there, so I'm going to use the supply drop. But now that I have this fast expand down, my economy is going to start to shoot up and beyond the Protoss player. I'm going to have a lot more income. I'm going to have a lot more production. And right now, all I have to do is play defensively, hold that front door, throw the Marines and Marauders inside the bunkers when my opponent makes an aggressive maneuver. And I know my opponent has aggression on his side because he has these 4 gateways down. He's playing 1 base right now, so he has forces on the map. There's no need for me to wander out and about when I'm trying to play a macro-intensive game. Eventually, you do want to get a factory down. As you guys can see right there, that factory is building. The factory is going to be used to build a reactor so that you can swap it onto a starport right after the factory finishes and start pumping out dual medvacs. That is going to be basically your medics for your Marines and Marauders. Now, it's also important when you play this 1-Racks FE build to scan. You want to see what your opponent is going. If he's getting Colossus, you do want to get a lot more Marauders. You want to focus on heavy Marauders. And you guys can see my opponent has an aggressive frontal stance in front of my base. And you guys can see I'm going to load up some of my infantry into the bunkers just in case. But what I want to say is if you see your opponent going for Colossus, get Marauders. The more Marauders, the better. And you guys can see he does have the robotics facility there. So there's a possibility he's getting Colossus out. And you want to get as many Marauders as you can to deal with that. Marauders are very good when you have stim pack against Colossus. Just stim, run in, snipe the Colossus, run back. If your opponent is not getting as many Colossus, however, say he's getting more Stalkers, then you do want to pump out more Marines. Get more reactors, get Marines. Marines are really good against almost anything except for, you know, charge lots and Colossus. On this game right here, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a mixture, getting a bunch of Marines, a bunch of Marauders, a little bit of both, because, you know, it's just smart play to have diversity. There you guys see I'm getting the factory with the reactor, starport finishes, lift off the factory, go do whatever you want with it. I'm building a tech lab. I could also go scout with it if I wanted to. And then I'm going to land the starport onto the reactor so I can start dual pumping out medvacs. This is going to be the crucial support for my infantry. It's going to be what is going to heal and allow my infantry to stay alive and have a lot more longevity. You also want to get those engineering bays down so you can research upgrades. I'm a little bit late on that, I think, but you know, it doesn't really matter. At this point in the game, my economy is definitely ahead of the Protoss because I know for a fact that I expanded way before he did. He's probably just now getting his Nexus up, and I did want to get some scouting workers, scouting Marines out, but you guys can see my opponent has his forces positioned right outside my natural choke, so he's denying my Marines from running out and controlling the watchtowers, which I really do want. But he's playing well, he's controlling the middle of the map, so he does have map control right now. Now you guys can see my first couple of dropships are coming out, continuing to pump Marines and Marauders and getting those upgrades on the tech lab. You do want to throw down a couple more barracks as you start to transition and the build and your economy gets stronger and stronger. You want to get around 7 or 8 more barracks in total. And right now I'm just waiting for my upgrades to finish. Stim pack, concussive shells, and shields. You guys can see those tech labs on the barracks almost finishing. And once those finish, I am going to make a push out and see how much ground I can control. So this is in essence the 1-Racks FE build, transitioning into 3M. Once again, let me reiterate, you get the 1 barracks, you get your command center, you lift up your command center, throw down a couple bunkers. It works very well against Protoss, not so well against Zerg. Zerg is a little bit different. This is a good build against Protoss because you can get those bunkers down, hold off a 4 gate, you can hold off 2 gate as well if you stay inside your base for a while. And then you want to eventually transition into Mass Marine, Mass Marauder, more Marauders if they're getting Colossus, less Marauders if they're not. And you do also want to get those dropships out of the starport. And so this is basically the opening build. From here you can be flexible.